I'm going to show you how to create a client tracking system so that you can collect, their feedback, see their progress, and use this information to, show that your offer works. You can also use this to inform your program. You can use the quote to put on the sales page, and this is a good customer research tool. So I built mine in Airtable, but you can use the same strategy to build it in another software that you used. So basically, I use a form. So I use a form that I send to clients every 2 weeks, and then there are some automations. The first automation sends them an email when they submitted the form. The second one, link clients. This is just to make sure that. And the third automation sends them reminders to submit this progress. Okay, and then later you can build an interface, for example, and you can also build interface. For example, this is the one I have, so that you can see the stats. For example, if you are measuring self-understanding or like career direction clarity, you can measure and see whether they're improving every month. So this is average. You can also check specific clients. Yeah, so you can see, all right, work fulfillment is kind of a little bit behind. So I might want to check with Helen test. Okay, yeah, and then, if you get into this, you can also build this interface. This is a drag and drop interface. You can see it very clearly. Perhaps you have something like this in your teaching platform, maybe another software. I use Airtable for this, so I will show you how to use Airtable to build this. Okay, so we're going to start with the base. You go to airtable.com. and you click on create, and we're going to create the base from scratch. Let's call it client management. I'll call it demo so that I know what's going on here. You can change the color if you like. I actually like this. I like this one. Okay. And I'm going to rename this table. So the first table is going to be clients. I like to add emojis. You can use a win and period key to add an emoji if you are on Windows. Okay, and we'll have two tables here. So this is a base. All the tables are stored in the base. Okay, and in this base there is one table, and later on we will add another one, and these are fields. Okay, just giving you an idea of the hierarchy. There will be some fields here already that we're going to ignore and delete. I am going to create a first name, and the field type is going to be a single line field. Last name, and this is also a single line field. Then we need an email, and the field type is going to be email. Okay, and we're going to leave it like this for now. So later on, when you have more tables, you'll probably have more fields, but for this use case, we're just going to leave it like that. All right, you are probably wondering why there is name, first name, and last name. It's because I like to use a formula here. And there's the formula. First name and quotation marks, space key, last name. Okay, last name. And to type faster, I just use tab, or you can just click with the mouse. And let's create our first client. It's going to be Olena V. Her email is helenbertepa@gmail.com. Okay, and so you see now here, this cell is populated automatically. And the reason why I do not use a full name is because when I'm writing emails, I like to use first name and not the full name. Yeah, so we can rename this field into full name. Okay, great. And let's create one more client. Need another email, yeah. Okay, this is going to be Helen Bertapa plus Taylor at gmail.com. So apparently when you use plus and anything after plus, this becomes a separate email, but you're still able to receive emails to that account. All right, so we have our first table ready. Now we're going to create another table and we're going to start from scratch. And this is going to be client progress. And every record is going to be called a record. Mind blowing. We're going to delete the fields as well. I'm going to do the same thing with the, I just realized I could have duplicated the table, but it's all right. First name. I'm going to duplicate this field to make it a little bit faster. Last name. Email. Okay, and now we can start writing our questions. So maybe you already know your offer promise and you already know what you're measuring. For example, if you are a fitness coach who helps women lose 15 kilograms or a certain amount of kilograms, that's pretty easy to measure, right? You can just use the numbers and that's very objective. However, if you're doing something that is a little bit more difficult to measure, or if you're doing something else and you already know what you're measuring, it's very easy for you to just type your questions here. So you will. And if you do not know, if you're not sure what to measure, you can think about it this way. What is the promise? So what are you promising? What result are you promising? And then you can plan backwards from there. Yeah. So when a client works with you at the end of your program, where do they want to be? What do they want to have or not have? And how do they want to feel? And then you can plan backwards. Okay, so how will I know that they are getting closer to the goal? I will also attach AI prompts that you can use that will help you to figure out what you're measuring. I'm going to do this use case because I worked for the company that helped, that was hired by companies and they helped employees improve their presentation skills in English. So this is what I'm going to think about. So the skills that I want to measure are confidence, clarity and pronunciation, audience engagement, adaptability. Okay, and they are going to be self-reported. This is for regular check-ins. It is also possible to add another, progress check, for example, after every presentation they had, to give the survey to the peers, and then they rate the skills of this person. And then it is interesting to compare and see how other people see it. Yeah, but for this video, we're just going to do regular check-in tracker. Okay, so the first one is confidence. It is going to be a rating, and you can choose. It can be in stars or in dots. I'll just keep stars. I'm going to duplicate field. I will duplicate the field. Okay, somehow I got 4 dups. Well, that's okay. I need exactly 4. The second one is clarity and pronunciation. Then we have audience engagement. And then we have adaptability. Okay, so these are going to be, I will use these as questions in the form. Okay, and the previous four, these I can use as quantitative data. So data that can be measured in numbers. So it is very easy to turn that into percentage. And now we want to get, some of the thoughts, feelings, examples. So I'm going to create a long text one. And this one is going to ask, what's one recent win you've had in your presentations? I'm going to choose long text and enable rich text formatting. And this means that a person will be able to use bullets or numbers. Okay, for the next one, what's the biggest challenge you still face? And this will help me see what kind of issues my clients are having so that I can make improvements to my program. Do you need help with any particular part of the program? Again, long text, just to see if there are any opportunities to support the clients a little more. And is there anything else you'd like to add or suggest? And so if they have any suggestions, it would be great for you to know. You don't have to act on all of these suggestions. All right, now we need a date. And look at that, I have a suggestion. And no, it's not just date, it's actually created time. Yeah, it's created time. Then we're going to have a month because we want to see month by month improvement. This is going to be a formula. And the formula is it's daytime format. And we're going to use what do we want to format? And we want to format date, comma, and we just want a month. Quotations for this. All right, let's see if that works. Beautiful, we already have February. Okay, let's just remove these records because they're empty. Okay, now this is what Airtable is really great at. We can link the tables together. So we can link it to client. And even if you have absolutely zero automations, you can just use this manually. Yeah, you can just link it to clients, but we'll have an automation to do that. And we're going to go back to client and we're going to create, okay, so now you can see here we have client progress field created because it connects, one connects to the other. So it's like a portal. Yeah, and it's on both sides. And we want to know when was the latest progress submitted. Latest progress submission, and it's going to be a roll-up field. And this is something that will help us calculate the latest progress. We're going to use the max value, so the highest value. All right. Okay, now we have these two tables. That's a win. And we just need to create a form. We're going to click here and go to forms. Now it's going to be super easy to create a form. All right, this is actually not client. This is client progress. Client progress. Let's call it by weekly check-in. All right, and here's the form. You see that it has some of the questions already. We're going to remove the name, but we'll add first name, last name. We'll have email. Please use the same email you used for example, or a registration. And that's because if they use a different email, the system will not be able to connect them to their client record. Okay, here we have our skills. I just like to move them like this. And let's add the rest of the questions. All right, great. Now, we don't want them to be able to not submit something. Okay, so these will be required fields. And even though we're using email to connect their kind of progress record to client record, we still want to have their name in case they made a typo so that you can know who the client is. All right, these are also required fields. What's one recent win you've had in your presentations? I would like to make it a required field as well, just to kind of help clients think about positive things and positive changes that they've made. The other three, I would leave them optional. Okay, we can also add a group. We can just call it about you or client details, depending on the formality level that you want to have. Okay, and then we can move the personal details here, and move the email here. Okay, and this can be called your progress. Oh, I could, okay. Let's just add the name here. Because I don't want to be moving everything there. All right, and I can, add background color here. Maybe no color here, but color and your progress bit. Yeah, I think we're ready to go. We can preview and see what it looks like. We can publish form, and we're going to test it. So let's just go ahead. Okay. Okay, let's hit submit. And let's see if we have a record. Okay, we have this empty record. Let's remove this. Yeah, we have a record with everything stored. Let's edit this field. So for this one, we want it to be a formula. So I want to say first name and last name. I'm surprised. Can't find it. Yeah, first name and last name and date. Okay, so it has first name, last name, and date. Nice, great. Okay, now what we want to happen, we want this to be connected to our main client record. Oh, and we want to create a lookup field. So we want to go to the client table and we want to look at the latest progress submission. Okay, that's what we want to have. So you can select the client manually and then this cell will populate automatically, but we will create an automation so that you don't have to worry about it. All right, so the trigger is when the form is submitted. It's our client progress form. And we have a record, this one. There can be only one trigger, but we can have many actions. For this one, we'll just use one action. We will send an email using Gmail, and it will look like it's coming from you. So two, we can choose their email. For subject, you can write what you want to write, and the same with the email. If you want to add some dynamic values, meaning change automatically based on the client, you can do that. Okay, and you can add dynamic values. You can add 2 asterisks to format the text and make it bold. Let's see a preview. Okay, it's going to look like this. You can edit it, of course, and we want to test it. So let's go ahead and run this test. It says email sent. Let's check. Okay, and I have received an email. Here it is. Now we can go ahead and turn the automation on. Let's give it a nice name. Let's call it new results. Send email. Okay, great. Now we want to connect the form. We want to connect the form to the client record. So when the form is submitted, here we're going to add conditional logic. Okay, so when a form is submitted in client progress, this form, we added conditional logic. If these conditions are met, if client ID is empty. Yeah, so if there is no connection to the client, this is what's going to happen. 2 things are going to happen. First, we're going to tell Airtable to go to the client table and look up the email and look up which email contains email from the form. So for this, you will want to choose dynamic. You're going to choose email here. Okay, and the second thing it's going to do is it's going to update the record. Then it's going to go back to client progress table and it's going to look at the Airtable record ID. So ID that we mentioned before, like here for the client ID. And then in the client field, it's going to add the Airtable record ID it found here in the previous step. All right, let's see if it's going to work. Okay, so we're going to choose the record to test. And if we scroll down, we can see that it worked. You see this one, this green rectangle? All right, it worked. Now let's run as configured. All right. We're going to turn this on and we're going to go and see, and yes, it connected Elena to Elena. Perfect. Okay, and we're going to run to create the third automation. And you will see why we actually did the second one. Oh yeah, let's give the second automation a name. And the name is new results. Link to clients. Right, for this one, when a record matches conditions, and we are talking about record in client progress, where now, because it's connected to clients, have latest progress, yeah? When latest progress is this many days ago, is on or before number of days ago. And we have a team. Okay, so if they have not submitted anything in 14 days, we want them to receive an email. But if they still do not submit after that, I don't know if you want to, but I don't want to send them too many emails. So I'm going to add, oh yeah, we did not create this. We're going to go back to client progress and we're going to create one more field and we're going to call it client. We're going to call it a reminder sent. And this is going to be a checkbox. Okay, and we don't need to see it. This is for the backend. We're going to hide it, okay? We don't need to see it and we don't need to worry about it. Okay, so now we're going to find this reminder sent. Okay, and if reminder sent is unchecked, then we're going to send an email. All right, we're going to send an email to email. With the subject, and we're going to say, hey, first name, it's that time again. Submit your progress. And we're going to paste the link right here, and let's see what it's going to look like. Oh, I need to select my account, and we need to run a preview. Okay, for this, I'm going to go back and I'm going to change this field temporarily. I'm going to change it back later. It's because I want to test this. I'm going to change it to, let's say, 13th of January. And I need to remember to change it back later. Okay, we have this record now and we can test it. All right, it's here. And it is here. Okay. And now the response is submitted. Let's go back and take a look. Wow, look at that. How insightful. Okay, for a month we have error. Okay, remember I said our automation just worked. Did you see that? That's beautiful. Remember I said I need to remember to change the time, to change the field back? I forgot. We're going to change it now. Okay, now you see we have month right here. It is connected to the client. Okay, beautiful. And now you can see we have 2 client progress stored here. Fantastic. And when you have more missions, I like to group them by client. Yeah, that's it. I hope you found this useful. Thank you for watching.